Welcome back to another episode of Peology, the show where the people in the pews do the talking. And I love to get all the world views from the panel as we discuss life. Many times it is cultural, political, economical, sexual, moral, spiritual, whatever. I've got an interesting one for you. Okay, so I'm watching. This is probably not a great way to illustrate this, but this is how like some of this started. I'm watching. Okay, how much do I want to talk
TikTok?
about here? Yeah, I'm watching. Okay, it's not important. I'm not going to do that. I'll tell you this later off air because it's not good. Let's say that most of you guys. So you're not married, not married, married. So we've got a good plethora here.
Not married.
And not. Thank you for that. True. Okay, so if like. Let's say that
she loves me not. She loves me.
Yeah, she loves me. She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. Okay, so let's say that you're married, even for the non-married guys. Let's say you're married. What is the standard expectation, possible requirement that you would have for, within reason, physical change that your partner could go through without there being a real problem? Like, specifically, how much weight could they gain?
As much as they want.
Before there's a problem? No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Okay. How much weight could they gain before there was a problem and it was causing friction in the relationship and discussions and issues and problems? And then like how, or I guess there's a variety of things that could happen, letting themselves go. Let themselves go.
Losing a foot? Like what? Like,
well, I was thinking more along things that they can control.
Okay, can't control.
They can control. We're not talking about just the general aging. We're not talking about people generally just growing older. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about things you can control, which includes diet and those kind of things. And so what is your expectation, and what would be how you would handle it with a spouse if you felt like things were going awry? You married a girl, she was 120, and all of a sudden you wake up 5 years into the marriage and she's 190.
I got no stones to throw here.
Ray's like, I'm gonna sit this one out.
He's like, I want to stay married.
Because he,
I've
how
had
much weight have you gained?
I've had a rough year.
A lot. Have you seen pictures of?
I've had a rough year.
I've never seen a young Ray.
I want a number.
Honestly, believe it or not, I was at 355 a couple months ago, and right now I'm at
352.
No, right now, listen, believe it or not,
359.
Listen, believe it or not, I've been working out a little bit over 3 months, and I've lost 96 days.
I knew that was coming.
No, but seriously, like I'm at like 304 right now, and my goal was before New Year's to get because I always set these expectations, right? But yeah, I know that I've been very selfish with my health, so. But I just got to keep moving forward.
What would you say as a person that's not married, hopefully wants to be married one day in a significant relationship? What's your expectation about that something like that?
My expectation is that they're going to keep themselves healthy, as I would try to keep myself healthy for them.
Okay. But like, is it just general, like, hey,
I mean,
generally speaking, just stay healthy.
Well, the thing is weight, or are you talking about BMI? The body mass index.
Either one.
But
I would say weight, generally speaking.
Well, because what if they work out constantly and they're building muscle in the right areas?
I think we both know that women
I think he's talking about just...
Yeah, women are putting on
a greater body.
I'm talking about like, hey,
blowing up.
She's letting herself go.
She's getting chunky.
She's not going to the gym and adding muscle mass.
Yeah.
Okay, she's letting herself go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. Because I wouldn't let myself go for them, right? So like at a certain point, right, I would even have that expectation on myself. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, I would hopefully let them, like, if I've gotten to a point where I'm letting myself go and like they're not coming to me like and being like, hey, we got to look at this because you're kind of gaining too much weight.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you think?
I would feel like they're not being a good spouse.
But what about, okay, so let's talk about you. Like, let's say if you got married this year, what would you weigh when you got married?
260.
260? And what would be too much?
For me?
Yeah.
Probably 300.
Okay, so 40 pounds?
Yeah,
40 pounds, give or take. Okay.
Whatever.
I think 40 pounds is 40 pounds fair with a woman?
I mean, it depends on if
That
they
means
have
if she
kids.
That's a lot.
You know,
that
like,
means if
Depends
she
on
was
where they put that
120,
40 pounds.
she'd
Women-
be 160.
Women's weight is like dog
Is that okay?
years. Every pound is like 7 to a man.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would be like, I'll start to question now, but I wouldn't be like, hey, I'm leaving you because of this.
Okay.
I would definitely bring it up at like 20 pounds. You know,
So at 20 pounds,
Right.
you'd slip her a note or what? Or you'd be like, have you thought about going gluten-free? Or
so
what?
the thing is,
How would
so
you know
with-
the 20? How would you
when
know
you
the 20
so the
pounds?
rela-
fries?
So the thing,
Can I tell you what we do? Is
Okay,
that-
please tell me what you
is that-
do.
Oh, good lord.
I would love to know this. You guys are
Man.
talking about it?
Yeah, we talk about stuff like this.
Okay.
You
Okay.
guys are a svelte couple, though.
What's a spelt couple?
What's a yeah?
Oh,
What,
we doing what he's
SVELTE.
What's that?
You know, they're trim.
Yeah, these are pretty trim people. Yeah,
yeah, I've gained a little weight, but
yeah, but you guys,
You're
Trim a
over-
little,
No, yeah,
trim a little off the
so
top.
like Abby's always been pretty health conscious.
Yeah.
She doesn't like she hated being pregnant just because she was gaining a lot of weight.
oh boy.
Um,
Well,
I
there's
mean-
a baby in there, Abby.
No.
I don't know.
She understood.
Okay.
Every day I tell her that I'm like, she would ask, do I look fatness? I'm like, yes, you do. There's a baby inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
But honestly, like if she ever did like get a little, chunky.
What's too
which
chunky for you? Abby's probably
She's
small.
always been very like petite and athletic, so I never really had to like say.
But if she
anything.
ballooned to like 180 or 170,
We've always said to each other, and she's had this conversation with me once.
Okay.
I took a shirt off one time, and she's like, "You need to work out."
oh wow.
I was like,
straight up.
No, seriously. Like she's like, "You're getting a little chunky," and I'm like, "I love you too."
Wow.
But
So she gave you the straight up.
no, she does, and that's the thing. Like, but what I would do is I wouldn't tell
gotta
her.
tell you,
I would not tell her
I
that.
don't know if I'd recover.
No, it hurt. It hurt. But I was like, you know what? You're right. I need to
Pull it
start
together.
eating right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I would do, and
Okay,
I would
talk
just
to
say, hey, why don't we work out together? And that instead of just like just being like, hey, you're getting a little fat. I'm not going to do that.
So,
That's-
the way you would
There's a
handle
diplomatic
it would
way
be
of
to
doing
invite her in,
invite
to
her in to
lead her
work
in
out
health.
with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And what if she says no? I kind of like this cellulite.
Then we have to be a little bit more blunt.
Okay. But what's the?
She's been blunt with me.
What's the point when
we've
it's a
agreed
real
on-
problem for you? What's the point where it's like poof, we are at crisis level?
I
I mean,
think
so
if you-
so far in almost 13 years, I haven't had that
Yeah,
point.
no, I'm she's kept
never even
herself-
been
yeah,
close.
She's nailing it. But I'm saying, what would be the problem where you were like, what would be the line? What would be the physical line where you'd be like, okay, girl, we got a real issue?
Like a weight?
Yeah.
It depends on where that weight's at. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, good grief. Here we.
listen, it's not gonna hurt.
That's why I said the BMI gotta be right.
This boy. Oh my.
I think
like,
if you're
look,
brutally honest with her,
I'm
like
like,
she
look.
was with you, it's not gonna turn out like how you think.
Okay, but
If her body fat is like at 45%,
Okay,
You know,
okay,
then,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Listen, BMI. Listen, here's the thing. Do you think guys care more about this than women do?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is. It's like a guy thing, right? I think guys are a little more like. Do you think? Is there a point in you that like? Do you think we're just childish enough, immature enough, like naive enough to get married and think, well, you're always gonna look like this?
Oh, I mean, that's delusional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's straight
That's
delusion.
yeah.
But you think we all have a little bit of that in us?
I think we value attraction, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna let people be like, oh, is something wrong with you for valuing attraction in a relationship? No, it's important.
Okay.
Maybe more important to us as guys than to women.
Okay.
But that's not to say that women don't want to be attracted to their man. What I'm saying is, I think that it ranks a little higher for us than it maybe does for them.
Mm.
But yeah, to be like, yeah, I met you and you were 109 and you're going to be 109 for the next, 30, 40 years. That's unrealistic,
Yeah. But let's scratch
That doesn't mean that all standards go out the window. It just means that it's unrealistic to think there's never going to be any change, any fluctuation.
Yeah.
So let's scratch the actual look, the attraction part out of it. Because like, think of it like
That's not
all right,
possible.
I know, but I'm just saying, let's just say, let's put that to the side. Okay, let's not scratch it out. Let's put it to the side.
Okay, put it to the side.
You
Not
know?
attracted to attraction.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, whenever they're gaining weight, they're losing their health, right? And at what point does their heart give out? At what age? Like, aren't we supposed to grow old together?
So, so you approach it from
That's why-
I want to live long with you.
Yes.
You thinner.
Well, I'm not saying thinner, but that's why I said the BMI has to be right. Like, if you're consistently putting in the effort to keep your body at a sustainable, weight, right? Let's just say, you become too unhealthy, right?
Okay.
To where your quality of life has gone dramatically down, right?
Okay.
It's more likely you're going to probably have a heart attack and die around 50, 60, 65.
Yeah.
Damn, I got 3 years left.
I think if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky, bro. We're laughing about
I'm
it.
at 305.
I was
come
thinking
on.
3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. No, I think
I hope I
I
make
just
it
think it's
past
an interesting thought, right? Like I think what happens for a lot of guys that are either in a marriage, planning to get married, is that they don't ever think about this. There's no discussion about this. There's no plan for this. And then they get into it and they don't know how to navigate it. And so now you're 5, 6, 10 years into the relationship. I think attraction is a big deal for a male in a relationship. I think they're getting less and less physically attracted to their partner because their partner is changing physically to what they were originally attracted to. And I think some of those changes are things that can be managed themselves through healthy choices. And then on top of that, they're getting older. So at the very time they have a descending sex drive, right? And they're having physical problems just of old age theirself, their partner is now making it extremely more challenging because they are no longer maintaining a physique that could be matched from a healthy stand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that just creates a nightmare for a lot of guys, and they don't know how to navigate that.
If it's a problem, consider taking Ozempic.
There's always a shortcut.
There's always a drug.
I
There's always a drug.
I think attraction is very important. I would want to be attracted to the person that I'm with. It's like, all right, we're married. We're
What do you do? What do you do if you wake up? You're 45 years old. You got 4 kids, and your wife's basically saying, like, look, I had all these kids. This is what's happened, right? But they are physically not even close to the same place they used to be.
Well, yeah, because that's within reason, though. It's
times
and
gotta-
also no. What I'm saying is, no. I'm saying the change.
No,
Yeah,
would
like-
you accept that?
What do you? I mean,
Well, at 25 and at
Within reason.
47, you're
Within
not going to
reason.
look the
Yes,
same.
okay,
No, I've
I don't
definitely-
expect
Let
you
me
to
make
look
it.
the
Let me
way
make
you did at
Let me make it
25.
easier. Let me make it easier. Okay. I'll make the illustration easier. You're at 45. You have 2 kids, right?
Mhm.
But
I have 2.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we've gone through a real extreme change, right? Now I'm not talking about like, hey, I'm talking, I've basically.
Double.
I don't want to say it this way. This is going to sound callous, but I'll say it. Like, I think it is potentially possible and does happen that the pregnancies get used as a excuse not to deal with the healthiest outcomes and choices.
Yeah.
And then we get into a situation where now the idea of making the changes are so extreme that it doesn't look like there's it's extreme home
Far away.
makeover. We're talking off the fat camp before we ever get back to where it looks anything like we used to look. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens then? What happens then? You wake up at 45 and to all intents and purposes, you're not attracted to your spouse. What do you do?
Biblically or realistically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Both.
Let's start with biblically.
The biblical should be realistic. No.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do? What do you do in real life?
Psych.
In sickness and in health, for better or for worse, till death do you part.
Okay,
That's it.
you agree?
Very simple.
I mean,
You're 45 and you're not attracted to your spouse.
testosterone replacement therapy
For the wife?
For the
For
wife.
the wife?
for me.
For
You're
what? So
gonna
you're
just
more
gonna-
horny for
You're gonna
other
trans-
people?
You're just gonna
You're
switch
gonna
to southpaw like that?
Yeah. You're going to transition now?
No, I mean, so at 45 and I'm not attracted because of how she looks.
Mm-hmm.
That would be attraction.
Yeah. I mean, you can be attracted to their spirit.
Sure. Sure.
Whoa,
Sure.
whoa! Her spirit.
Her spirit.
In a world of
man,
no,
you got it, girl.
Look at that spirit. Look at that.
Did you see that girl's
she
spirit?
got some spirit.
Man.
Yeah, she got some
You know,
spirit.
Spirited.
Like Future would say, turn out that light.
Unless I'm attracted, I don't even care about the spirit.
oh,
true.
Sheesh.
we don't even get to that second level. Like the attraction has to be there. Then it's like, all right, now I want to know more about you. But if I don't even,
We're talking about your spouse.
the packaging ain't
We're
even
talking
nice.
about your spouse, not a random chick. Someone that you've been
No,
with
but I'm taking it
that's
back
had
to
your
before-
children.
before that even goes.
Yeah, he's making a point before the marriage. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, then you weren't married to begin with.
Exactly.
he's got to be
talking-
attracted.
Yeah,
We're talking,
But now he's
no.
no longer attracted.
But
to
we're
her.
saying you married her when you were attracted to her.
He was attracted to her.
And then now.
Now she's not.
That's a mistake
Not
on
physically.
my. So realistically, that's a mistake on my part
How come?
because we weren't having monthly or weekly check-ins with everything.
What do you mean?
Like checking in on a relationship, our goals, our standards.
So you think you maybe
At
like,
the beginning, like
so you think
like
that
if-
the guy would have to take some ownership that he didn't. That
If
it
I'm
didn't
not
just
taking
happen.
lead,
it happened
yeah.
under his watch.
yeah, I'm,
like he
because
didn't
the man
lead
is
her
the lead,
towards health.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm supposed to lead in a relationship.
And what if
Right.
what if you were trying and she was like, "I'm leading my way to the couch to eat these this
Then it
Edie's
wouldn't
ice
be
cream.
40.
Be like, bring me a gallon,
'cause
too.
I wouldn't be 45 and not attracted to her because she won't be my wife.
oh, you would leave her."
Yeah.
So we're not going the biblical approach.
We're not good. That's not the biblical
I love
approach.
how like
not the biblical.
obviously he's like, obviously
Like, I
I'm
would
done.
hope they would do the same thing for me. Like
they would leave you.
well,
Oh,
like
they should
before,
leave you
like
from the
before
jump.
anything, like before we even get to the point where we're checking in and being like, hey, you're getting a little overweight. You know, like
It's like what Abby did with me a few years ago.
Yeah, like
Took my shirt off. She's like, "You're getting fat, dude."
yeah, like that's the most loving thing you can do is be honest with them, right?
While
Like,
it's still manageable, because
Yeah, while it's
it's
still
easier to
manageable.
lose 15
Yeah.
pounds than it is. Hey,
Then
you
it'll
got to
lose
come down
300
pounds. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah, like were you having a like
Ray-
fast
Ray
every
knows.
other day?
yeah, yeah.
Bro, I fast.
Like
And I'm
what?
still
One
not
day
losing
off,
weight.
one day off.
No, I fast. I eat so fast, I'm still not losing any weight.
Like, yeah, I've heard that before from
That's
you.
a good one.
Ray at
That's a good
the
one.
Comedy Pavilion.
Got me familiar.
Open mic.
You got dates to announce
I'm
here?
gonna use these.
Like, where are you gonna
clips.
bomb at next?
Your bathroom.
Shots fired. He got you back. He got you back.
got you back.
Oh,
Clean, clean.
my
It's
We'll
good.
allow it. We'll allow it. No,
So you would consider leaving a marriage over weight?
Yeah,
Okay.
because
would
it's,
you would
it's
you,
more like selfishness.
would you if it was extreme?
Leave?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Would you if it was extreme? Like if it was extreme?
He's
Hell yeah.
thinking hard. I
Steam's coming out of his
I
ears.
gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. The attraction has to be there. We have to do something before like the attraction is completely gone. Like
I
something
was-
has to happen. I make no promises after.
gotta be
like
honest,
it's
but,
completely gone.
me and my wife would have to have a serious conversation. Like I wouldn't just like straight up leave. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
nobody
look,
wakes up
look, there's
900
a
pounds
problem.
all of a sudden. You
And
get,
honestly,
he's gonna be like, hey,
if she's let herself
The
go,
jig is up if I'm not up.
I have most likely let myself go too.
So if you let yourself go together, then it's fine.
No, I'm not saying it's fine, but I'm
You're
just
just too
saying
big
like if
fatty.
she has, I have.
Mhm.
That's kind of
that's another dimension also. Don't hold her to the standard and you're the slob.
yeah.
Yeah, but
You have to be in, if you're going to demand that she,
I'm just
keeps
listen.
some sort of
Listen, figure
shape,
Uh,
you need to also.
podcast
Round
audience.
is a shape.
Podcast audience, please focus on the fact that I'm just asking. I'm not insinuating.
Oh no! When you get the girls on a podcast, we want to see these.
But I'm just asking this question. Like, even if you're out of shape,
Mhm.
but you've lost all attraction to your spouse. Could you move forward?
Independent of the weight thing that we were talking about? You're just talking about just...
Yeah, we're saying that
why would you lose attraction?
We're saying that weight is the means, but it could be other things.
That's the factor that we're talking about.
I don't know. Maybe acid.
So you may be out of shape, but...
What is this, the 80s?
So you're out of shape, but you've lost attraction to her because she's gained too much weight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to do some soul searching first.
Okay.
Now if you've made
attraction's a funny thing, right? Attraction's a funny thing because it's
sure it can be.
Yeah, it's
all chemicals and
yeah. It's not like you wake up one day and you can always wake up every day and choose to love.
Yes,
choose to be sacrificial and love right. But you can't always wake up and choose to be attracted.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they do have BBWs, and people are attracted to BBWs. Big beautiful women.
Nobody's
big beautiful
attracted
women.
to
Some are.
No, some people.
I think that's an internet hoax.
You think that's an internet hoax?
You never seen these big white girls with these tall African American dudes dating? That's like
I think that there's something.
It's just more cushion for the pushing.
Especially around tax season.
I don't think so.
No, there's something to that.
I'm not buying it.
There's something to.
I'm not buying it.
There are some freaks out there.
I'm not.
You don't believe there's freaks?
There's guys into anything. Like
I know.
Yeah. Come on.
You ever hear
guys into horses?
Listen,
dudes into freaking feet. Like
you ever hear dashboard chicks? You ever hear a dashboard?
What's a dashboard chick?
Dashboard chick is you're driving in a car and you see a real because you can only see this and you see a really pretty girl and you're like, hey girl, pull over. They pull over, and then when they get out the car, they got a body like me, and you're like, whoa, dashboard chick.
I just wanted to tell you, your gas cap is off, and
Dashboard chick.
I
have never heard of a dashboard
chick. From the dashboard up, she looks good. From the dashboard down, ooh.
She's a butterface.
Never heard that.
You heard butterface, right? She looked good.
I've heard that, but I've never heard
I never heard of dashboard chick.
That's a Jersey thing.
And we ain't from Jersey.
Well,
I think we're a little off topic.
You're not in Kansas.
Okay.
No, I think it is the topic. I'm just
That's
saying
part of the topic.
You can always love your partner, but you can't always be attracted to your partner. And what happens if you feel like the attraction is gone and not coming back?
It would have to come back.
There's
there's
always Viagra.
Yeah, Viagra and TRT.
I think Viagra just helps to maintain it. I don't think it just
magically happen, right?
No,
I don't know.
You still have to.
I don't know. I've never used it.
You still have to prime the pump, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works either. I mean,
right?
How does it work? I've never used it.
I'm just saying, like it.
Yeah, I think Viagra, what it does is what is it? Increase blood flow and all that stuff like that. Yeah, but you still have to have.
You have to be like 65 with a prescription.
All right,
you have to
be
want
get
it.
this going, and
Yeah, have some want.
It's not just like a.
What if your want is low?
Yeah.
TRT.
I mean, I'm a man. I'm not dead. Like.
Yeah, but it's at a certain point. Like, I'm not trying to be gross. I'm not trying to be gross, and I'm not trying to push too hard. I'm just saying it is a reality that at a certain point you say I'm a man, I'm not dead, but at some point you're like, I'm not sleeping with that, and you'd have to kill me to sleep with it.
You know what I'm saying? Wife.
I don't mean that to be gross. I'm just saying there's a reality to life, like where you go, I'm physically not into this. Right.
I just don't think that happens overnight. Let's say it's if we're talking about a thing where it's like, let's say, God forbid, there's you guys are in a car accident, something happens. And
out of control.
That's completely different.
It is
that's completely different.
Yes,
long suffering.
We're talking about controlling.
I could understand someone saying, you know what.
Absolutely.
If I'm being honest and realistic, yes, this has hurt the attraction.
You're a quadriplegic now. I'm riding out with you.
Yeah. Because you're a piece of shit otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things that are.
You lose a leg. Right. You lose an eye.
Right. You might be onto something because I was in a car accident like 10 years ago.
We can get inventive.
But the premise was things that you could that are under our control.
Under your control.
So what if that happens like before you get married?
What?
Like while you're in the dating stages, right? And then the person has a freak accident or
that's a tough one. That's a tough call.
You've not made a commitment under God at that point, and it may be it may be young. Seen
You're still
exactly.
prime.
It may be
Let me take
seen.
you to
It may
Lake
be
Eola.
seen as like a jerk thing to do, but I mean, it's like, all right. I mean, I'm not gonna go ahead and marry you knowing that this is already an issue. I'm just gonna ignore it and roll the dice for the next, for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
What if she's quadriplegic or something?
Then you knew that
They had
going
to
into it, right? Then
what
you
if they
make
had
that.
to
No, what I'm
relearn
saying is,
everything?
what if you're dating somebody and they have like an accident or something and they're physically
You're not bound to them. I know it.
Wow.
Better to be honest than for that to all of a sudden then you're in it, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I thought I could ride this out, and it's only been 10 years and I can't ride it out. Wouldn't it have been better not to have married the person?
But what I don't
Yeah,
know.
if that was, I mean,
think so.
What if the tables were turned and it was a guy and he loses his high paying job before they're married?
you can get another one.
No,
The-
she
the-
can leave.
Part of the relationship, part of her attraction or desire to be with him was probably predicated on his ability to provide.
Right.
Like his attraction is his wallet.
I mean, to
Her
some
attraction.
degree, to some. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
so I still got a
Attraction.
chance.
But what I'm if
I still
if-
got a chance. That's all.
if
That's
their
why I'm still in the
family
game.
plans, if their marriage and family plans involved kind of like, all right, based on what you make and what the lifestyle that we can have as a family, that's
What if
that's
you
a
were-
determining factor.
What if you were
that's
dating?
lost-
Well, let me ask you this. What if you were dating and you were like, I think I could make you look good, but it's going to take some surgeries?
Oh no, I'm not with that.
Mm.
I'm personally not. I don't.
Wait,
I don't like the surgery angle.
What do you mean, like after they've had an accident?
No, just generally speaking.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's like saying I can
So what you're
change. I
saying
can
for
change
me
their
is-
personality or
Yeah.
their bad habits. That's no.
Okay.
So what you're saying for me is I have to have sex with my wallet strapped to my forehead in order to get the attraction?
That depends on.
Ray's
The
trying
person
out
that you're with.
more comedy bits.
More comedy bits. I'm sorry. No good. Let's see where
I don't
I'll
know.
come next.
It's a tough one. I believe it or not, it's funny because when I started off in ministry, right? I started in my 20s, and I've done my 20s, my 30s, my 40s now in ministry, and now that I'm getting into my 50s, the problems are completely different. A lot of time with my peer group or with people I'm counseling or older church members, and believe it or not, I hear this a lot. Especially from guys.
For
The-
men,
the
we
attraction
know
thing?
men are
Yeah,
more,
they're like,
men are
hey, I'm
more
in a
visual.
marriage. I'm really struggling. I'm physically not attracted to my spouse anymore. It's prevented us from having a healthy sex life, and I don't know what to do. And I don't want to be a jerk, but it's killing me. And I'm like, oof, this sounds awful.
Well, isn't part of it too like maintaining the romance, like in your marriage?
Yeah, but a lot of
that helps
times,
with that-
but a
with
lot
that
of times when
attraction,
I'm
too.
talking to these specific guys and I'm thinking about, it's physical.
Yeah,
It's completely physical.
physical. Well, we are
I don't know, I'm
physical.
just- I
Men
was
are
thinking,
more
like-
physical, more
Right.
visual.
I stand by my point. I mean,
Hit the road.
But do you think it'll be
No.
more now?
at the beginning, it's their fault. Like
What do
they
you-
should have been saying something at the beginning. Like while it was happening, it could have been
The guy's
prevented.
fault, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
But here's my only caveat to that. I'm wondering, is that true, or is society changing at such a rate? Right? Remember, like I got to tell you, like
You mean like what's considered attractive?
yeah. Well,
Not only that, but our food is crazy.
couple
too.
things. Look at pictures of general population now versus the 50s or the 30s or the 20s,
Mhm.
and everybody's fat now.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
Well,
right?
it's our
and
food,
women
right?
are much more fat now.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, when you look at the way we live in a society that's so visual driven, with visual advertising, with movies and internet and social media, and it's constant in our face all the time. Where before, think about it, there was a time when none of that existed. It was a book or nothing.
There's another division though here.
Okay.
The U.S. versus outside of the U.S. Because that whole weight gain thing, that's here.
Agree.
That's
Yeah.
I agree.
That's not as prevalent in Europe,
I agree.
or South America.
South America, or
Yeah.
Asia. Yeah, exactly. That's here.
Pick up one of them
That's
One of
here.
them
That's all that
Filipino
fruit
girls.
corn syrup.
You like the Filipinos?
Philippians in the Bible. No.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I agree with you, but I'm saying it could, some of it be cultural. Like we're living in a time where this is just happening to us, and it's one of the problems we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird, right?
it sucks.
How long do you think, I'm just wondering, just Shot in the dark. I looked at you because you said it sucks, and a number of times. Well, how old are you right now?
33.
33. How
I didn't think about that.
do you think you'll get married?
Yeah. I mean, I hope.
Okay.
You know?
I mean, 33.
What's wrong with 33?
Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
I'm like, isn't that what time like people usually get married?
No.
Usually much younger.
Depends.
Yeah.
Depends.
I was gonna say because usually depends on people's life choices too, right?
Well, you've made some bad ones.
Yeah, but
Kidding.
Only a couple.
He's like, wait a minute, what?
like, of course.
It's funny because it's true. But you're better now.
Put the
You're better.
crackhead. Put the crackhead chronicles
But I'm just
link
saying,
on the bottom.
you still have a hopeful expectation about one day getting married.
Yeah,
Okay, that's cool. It's cool.
I mean, so I had this a crazy conversation with Avi, right? As one of my friends, for those who don't know, and I was thinking about, I'm like, man, like, is my idea of marriage very like I never thought of my idea of marriage or like relationships with a woman was pretty much driven by like me not having a father in my life, right? Like,
How so?
because my mom, I grew up with a single mother,
Okay.
right? And like my dad, when I finally met my dad, his advice was crazy. He was like, you just got to treat them like tools, you know, like as sex objects, like straight up, like one after the other, after the other, after the other. Like when I was in Colombia, and he's like, that's what they are. That's what he told me what women were.
Yeah, but
As sex objects.
this is the same time he's dating the girl in the wheelchair?
No. This
Oh.
way before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
What?
Yeah.
What? I need to know.
Nothing.
I need to know this one.
That's another rabbit hole.
Go back and listen
but
to
anyways,
episode,
but like, but
Link in
So
bio.
he just utilitarian. What's that word I'm looking for?
so like,
Utilitarian. He had a utilitarian approach to females.
Or
And
Andrew
that-
Tate one.
but I met him and I
They were
got
a
to know
means
him at
to an end.
24. But like most of my life, I grew up with my mother where like she was like, I'm never gonna get married again, and she would have like one boyfriend after the other, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think she'll get married again?
No, of course not. Like that's like out of her.
Why?
She's George.
Oh, wow.
Oh, George is
Wow.
retired.
She hung up the jersey. She's
Hung it
retired.
up.
She
It's
hung
done.
up.
George is retired. Your mom is still in the game.
No, well, I mean, I don't know about now, but anyways.
Okay.
I'm just talking about like as a child growing up, as seeing like all right, so it was never prevalent in my life that I should be married. You know, like it was never even considered up until I've gotten sober.
Because your mom promoted the idea of not being married?
Well, I just thought of like I never thought of that being
A good thing.
No, I never thought of that actually taking an effect in my life. But I did an inventory on it recently.
Okay.
And I'm like, and I started looking back at like all the sexual experiences I've had, even as a child, right? Like
Horror show, huh?
it was just crazy because I'm like, at what point I feel like my mind blocked a certain sense out of like or an experience,
Okay.
because I think I might have been molested as a child, as a very young child.
Okay.
Because I said some crazy things. Like I remember saying, well, I never did this with a girl at like 5 or 6.
Mm.
You know, I never committed this sexual act with a girl. And I was sitting there with my sister and a friend, and I'm like, I don't know where that thought just came from, you know, like,
Yeah.
and
So maybe there's some stuff deep down there in the subconscious that
yeah, I'm
is
like,
still driving you.
and then like, and not only that, but I lost my virginity to like a girl who she was just very out there, you know.
Older, younger?
She was like a year or two older. I was like in 7th grade,
Oh, dang.
you know, in 7th grade, and then
Where do you schmoff somebody in 7th
Yeah.
grade?
in the
Oh.
pool in front
In
of
the
your,
pool?
in front of my sister.
Ooh.
And her little sister. It was crazy, you know. So like, and then 2 weeks later, she was with someone else that I knew, you know. So
mean,
like,
I don't think
I
she enjoyed it
basically
in the
lost my
pool.
virginity to a hoe.
Pool sex is a hard. That's,
Pool is.
it's
ugh.
It's not fun.
that is an overrated.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not as fun as
No.
Nah.
Yeah, of course.
Sounds-
Never did it again.
Nah.
I realized.
nah.
Afterwards,
Seems like a great idea till you hit it. And then you're like, what are we doing?
After you were done, did you
I
realize?
never knew what the code can do.
Hey, wait. After you had that encounter in the pool, was the burn from the chlorine or was it something else?
I mean,
Oh, good Lord.
I didn't have any burns, so look.
Oh, gee.
But anyways, yeah. So I just thought about, like, I look back at all my previous
So
relationships.
it was more like a sex show.
yeah, like.
You were like a
Yeah, well,
Tijuana.
I mean,
wild.
I
That's
don't know,
wild.
but that's what I was just thinking. I'm like, is even being like, I had to take a hard look at it. I'm like, is even being married in the cards for me?
Right.
Like what you thought about.
Is that because you felt so disconnected from?
From like what the normal thing
Yeah.
is to do.
Okay.
Right? Because that was my normal thing. Was like, you know,
So by the
I was
time you met
basically-
your dad,
I've been
when
conditioned
he's-
for divorce.
Yeah,
basically.
but by the time you met your dad and he said what he said, you were like, well, yeah, of course.
Well,
That's
yeah,
what I've been
I'm like-
doing.
Well, no, before I met my dad, I was like, well, think about it. Like I was with Righteous's mom for 5 years,
Okay.
right? And I never cheated on her.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy, right?
Even
Even
honestly, it's the most shocking thing that was said on this podcast so far. I'm serious. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, you know, and that was
Not based just upon the lifestyle you were leading at the time.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not judgment. I'm just saying I never would have guessed that.
yeah. Well, like not cheating on her drove me to smoke crack, probably.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the downside.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give. Yeah. So like,
Gee,
whenever I went over there to Colombia, and he basically validated my actions, right, and I'm like, I had a very different moral standard and view on life too, and then coming out of that, coming out of addiction, and then realizing all of my actions can be a life or death choice for me.
yeah.
You know, it's like if my conduct continues to harm others, I'm quite sure to drink.
Yeah.
The book literally tells me that it's a
Yeah.
it's a double sword,
Okay.
right? But if I'm sorry and my conduct, like if I'm sorry for what I've done and I have the honest desire to have God take me to better things, then I will believe that I have been forgiven.
Yeah.
And He will take me to better things. And I ask God to remove those things, right? And in the moment, like, it's one of those things where, like,
Let me stop you for just a second because it's really interesting how the program is so connected with the scriptural underpinnings, and basically the message is this: everything's connected. You can't think to yourself in your mind, well, I'll fix my addiction problem, but not my forgiveness problem. I'll fix my addiction problem, but not my sexual problem. I'll fix my addiction problem, but not my whatever, right? Everything's wrapped up. You're one person.
yeah. You know what's crazy? For like the most of my recovery, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, because you have to abandon yourself to God.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm like, all right, God, you can have this part of me.
But not this.
You can have the drugs, but I'm gonna smoke cigarettes.
Right.
And then I'm like, no, wait. You can take the cigarettes. Like, you can have my financial situation. You can have my living situation. But I'm like, but my relationships, I got that.
Yeah.
You know, but then more and more, like it narrows down to like nothing else matters other than my relationships, right?
Yeah.
And how I conduct myself with whoever. Like, my relationship with you, I want to be the same. Like, let's just say I want all of my relationships to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Open, trusting,
trust. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
filled
like,
with truth.
And I thought about what you said about the silver rule versus the golden rule. Like, I was thinking like, man, my, cause we had to create an ideal after we do our sex conduct inventory.
Yeah.
We had to create an ideal for our future relationships. Not only our sex partners, but all of our relationships.
Yeah.
Every human being that I come in contact with.
Yeah.
What is my ideal? And I thought being considerate was good enough, because if I'm considerate, then if I'm careful to not harm others or inconvenience others, then I'm going to be loving, kind, trustworthy, loyal. But it's not. I'm just doing nothing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm living the silver rule, and I'm like, now since that sermon, I've changed my ideal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not only am I not being just considerate.
So real quick
So you're saying you're getting closer to God, and what's most important to you is your relationships with people. being vulnerable, trusting, loving, caring, empathetic, all those good things, right? That's what's important to you now.
What I'm saying is my ideal
Right.
has changed
To that. That's what you just said.
to being the golden rule, right?
Yeah.
To being not only just
He's illustrated in the illustration too. For everybody that's listening that's not picking up on this, is that the golden rule
Do unto others.
is do unto others.
Yeah.
The silver rule is don't do to someone.
Right.
Well,
you want
so
it's
my,
done.
I was the silver
But if
rule. Now
they
I'm
gain weight, you just walk away and cut them off. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
contradicts
saying,
what you're
that-
thinking of. That's
It's not contradicting. I said
Why?
exactly that because I was like, I would want them to do that to me. I said that.
Overvaluing the relationship and say, hey, let's work on this together. Like
No,
I mean, it's
at the beginning we're doing check-ins.
Yeah.
At the beginning we're doing check-ins.
Okay.
And if at certain, if
all
at
right. So do
if
you
at a
think the
certain
check-ins
point, then they
pan out
didn't-
all the time? I mean, life happens. Years go by sometimes, and you're like, how did I get here? Not just in weight, but in situations like financial situations where you're like working. You know, you got to save. 4 years go by, and you're like, I'm still in the same place. I have an older car than when I started.
Yeah, well, that's why we do
I think-
preventative action.
But I think most people, I
that's
think
what I'm
you'd
talking
have to
about.
agree that, right? Like, I hear your point.
You know what I mean? Like you talk
No,
so
I-
nice and beautiful, and then you're like, cut him off.
But I hear your point, but
So
I think
how you
you'd
gonna
have
get
to
close to
agree with his point, which is things happen incrementally. They don't just, it's not just one day you're $50,000 in debt.
Yeah, no,
or one day
they
you're
happen.
200 pounds overweight, right? It's like these are incremental things that add up. It's death by 1,000 cuts,
Yeah.
right? And so
So now,
I
how
think
long you been coming to
jujitsu-
this church? How long have you been coming to this church?
Since I've been in recovery. So I would say about 7 years.
7 years. You know, and then you just said something self-defeating where you're like, I've been conditioned not to be married, but we've all been here, witnessed all your relationships, and we've given you marriage advice, relationship advice towards the right path. Do you think you've chosen those right paths over the course of 7 years that you've been here, or you're just conditioned to not learn anything or be better?
What do you mean? Do I feel like
I mean, I don't
I've
want to
taken-
call out the things specifically, but I'm just saying.
Hold on. I think what I think in Axel's defense, I think his argument is, maybe I haven't been perfect, but I'm still trying to find the right girl.
No, I understand that, but when you talk about relationships,
Also, I think he was
And
saying
you're talking
in the
about the-
past he
you're
wasn't
talking-
conditioned for marriage.
Yes.
but he
Yeah.
I
just
was
said
saying-
that he's
Yeah.
he's open to marriage.
no, but he's talking about the golden rule and the silver rule, and I've seen him consistently break that rule. Just
When?
holding you accountable
When?
in your relationships. The last one you had.
Yeah, okay, but we're talking about
That sermon,
when did he?
that sermon happened like last
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
So this
Come
is a
on,
new
man.
thing.
Can you give this guy a chance?
All right. I'm sorry.
Give him a little- give him a
It
little
just
twist.
sounds real nice. It's like
Hello?
I'm trying to get close to God. and
That was like a month ago.
loving.
That
But
sermon.
you gained 20 pounds. Get out. Lock the door. Your stuff is.
He said
Yeah, he's taking very
he said that
a lot
if
of
he,
offense,
he,
bro.
he said that
No,
if he got
no,
to the
no, no,
point,
no.
he said that if he got to the point where it was like, look, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm not gonna lose any, then he would expect to be left also, because it's like, all right, we've gotten here, I'm unflinching, I'm not gonna budge on this.
Yeah.
So
Would you say?
yeah.
So would you
leave
say
me,
that
because
relationship,
then I something has to break so I can break.
as opposed to saying, "Hey, let me stand by you and not abandon you."
I think one of the arguments, Ray, would be if standing by worked, the weight would be off.
Well, you don't know until you do it. He's very like, I'm cutting you off.
No, what I'm saying,
I never said that.
You did.
I think-
Play the tape back.
I said no. So
I'm
like
done, you're
he
out.
said, if they're continuous, like if we've already gotten to this point, I'm like, all right, this is the limit, right? And I'm like, all right.
You said 20
Some-
pounds. It's like,
he didn't
I
say
would-
20
I-
pounds.
I said
Play
20
the
pounds. We
tape
would
back.
have to say.
Did he say 20 pounds?
yes.
Gee,
No, I-
20 pounds?
I never
got
said
the
I would
rate.
leave
Yes,
him.
you.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you
Yeah.
would say
He's
something.
putting a lot of words in my mouth.
Yeah. I think that's what he said. He
But
said he
you'd
would
say
start to say something.
and
at
if
20.
they didn't do anything, get out.
No,
and I would hope they
think-
would leave me.
What
too.
I heard and what I think he was implying was,
I can't wait to play.
once we get to a point where it's the attraction's lost, not like, hey, it's starting to lose, but the attraction's gone and the person is not reciprocating in any way, then we're entering into an area where that does become I think that's a realistic challenge.
Yeah.
That's a realistic
get it.
challenge inside of marriage. I'm not saying that the answer should be leave. I'm definitely not saying
Yeah.
that.
And all those pretty things that I was saying, they weren't from me. They were just inventory. In my
You're
prayer,
saying that's
in
where you're trying to
meditation.
go. You just said
in my
relationships are
prayer
important to me.
meditation.
Yeah.
Well, so when you
I
pray
have
in
found
meditation,
out
you pray for
that
things
this
for
is
you.
what I'm striving towards.
Right.
Right.
But if you're striving towards something and you've been here for 7 years and
So
you're
what
not
is-
there at all, or even close to it. So where are you at?
Where are you at?
I'm right here. I'm right here. I wouldn't throw nobody out.
I'm just like,
I wouldn't throw nobody out. I wouldn't divorce
Yeah,
my
but
wife if
came
she
to this
gained a bunch of
conclusion a
weight.
month
But
ago.
what were you hoping for? What were you? What
reaction are you hoping for?
Yeah, but what?
No, it just.
But I think that's
I find it a contradiction to
Okay.
be so like, may I say it, cold-hearted and like this is black and white and you're out of here and I cut these people off and I'm not accepting these things, but yet you're trying to be, because that's not. You think Jesus would throw you away if you gain 20 pounds, or he'd be like, I'm done with you. I told you 100 times, even though we keep sinning and sinning. That's where I'm getting at.
It's a good question.
That's what I'm getting at. Because if we're to hold each other accountable and be Christians,
So
maybe
again,
where
let me
is the shift?
let me phrase it so you can understand exactly.
Oh no, I
what
understood it.
No, you didn't, because I said
Play the tape back, but go ahead.
Okay, I said that in our relationship we would have weekly and monthly check-ins. I said that,
which is
right?
healthy. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That sounds
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And so we can see our goals and our standards,
Yeah.
if they still align with each other's, right? So like, let's just say we have a monthly check-in, and I'm like, I say this, I'm like, hey, I'm gaining a lot of weight,
You or her?
me.
Okay.
I'm saying I have to do these things,
Right.
and that's gonna cut out time from us, because that's gonna be like, I need to work out more, and I'm like, all right, I need to eliminate some bread, I need to eliminate sweets. So then she understands now that she can't be introducing that into my, like, putting it in my face all the time. So then I'm not struggling with it. Like, I'm not struggling with having to eat chocolate cookies every single night. Or like, because I can relapse. My relapse.
Okay,
like,
so
you
say
asked
you
me
have.
if I relapse.
So
Yes,
say
I
you
relapse on cookies.
Right. So say you have
like,
kids.
I'll eat
say
a
you
pack
have
of cookies a
perfect.
day.
So say you're married and you have kids. Listen, you're married and you have kids, and you'll know this because you have kids. They want the snacks and the cookies, and I'm sure you have cookies in your house right now. If I went to your mom's house right now and opened the cupboard, there's cookies.
I didn't
there.
buy them.
Doesn't matter. Your wife would buy them for your kids. So now you're gonna.
I
leave
would
it
argue.
because you
I would
don't-
argue that's not fair.
How's that not fair?
I don't have cookies in my house.
Because they ate them all.
Just telling you.
You got like 7 boxes of cereal.
I got cereal.
Okay, so that
got cereal.
that can be. You could chow down on.
I got cereal. I'm not sure. Maybe we can make the equivalent argument.
Yeah,
but
cereal's not the healthiest.
It's not. I agree with you. I'm just saying.
So would you blame your wife if you had a lot of cereal at the house for the kids, and then you started snacking on it late at night because that's all there is?
No,
I would
of
say
course
that.
not.
You
I would
just said
say.
that. If she puts the cookies in my face and puts
No.
them every night.
Listen, you sound a little sensitive.
No.
He's very sensitive with this
I'm
subject.
not sensitive.
Like,
I just.
don't take the cookies away from me.
I'm not sensitive.
I seem to
just-
remember something
I'm
very
not-
specific about this, about having snacks in the house, and
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
it is.
It's a
there's a
touchy
reason
subject.
I think he sounds a little sensitive.
Okay.
And look, and in my
Okay.
defense, I once told my wife, I'm like, can we lock the cupboards because I can't stop myself from snacks. I'm an addict. But you know what? That never happened.
That's
and
an
I,
excuse.
And it is because I held myself accountable, and they're there. And believe me, I want to shovel them down my throat. But I don't blame my wife anymore. I have to blame me. That's why I'm down to 305, which may not be a big goal to you guys right now, but to me, it's huge.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like last night she texted me. She's like, I saw you ate a yogurt. I said, yeah. The low fat yogurts. I said, better than eating Slim Jims and cookies and a ramen. She's like, fair enough, because she's, like you said, we're keeping each other accountable.
Mhm. Well, I don't know what the right answer there on that one is. It's going to be really interesting to hear what the women say.
Yeah.
though.
I will repeat that as a man, make sure that you are holding up your end of the bargain to some degree before you start criticizing her weight gain, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We will gain
Yep.
some happy weight in relationships and this and that, and as long as we're both like, okay, it's cool, this and that, but don't you dare start pointing out her weight gain and you've ballooned too.
Yeah.
Like if you're making efforts to remain attractive for her,
What if
and
you're?
she's
What if you're?
the one? Then it's like, all right, hey, we gotta reel this in.
What if you're in one of those relationships where you're fairly thin just based upon metabolism?
In genetics.
Like just genetics and metabolism. But for her to be thin, it's going to take a lot of work.
What if she's on birth control?
Help her, encourage her.
And birth control makes women
Get out
gain
that
weight.
garage, girl. Get on that bike.
Like,
and
Ozempic
do it with her or something. But I mean, it's you won't. It's not such of much of a struggle for you because you have genetics in your favor.
Yeah.
But then be the encourager. Help support, join in.
That's as far as we Guys,
Ozempic.
I can't wait to hear what the ladies say about this.
And all those ladies.
I love you.
Ozempic
Mean it.
exists.
Peace.